Hi there, I'm Dr. Stephen Phelan. Thank you for joining me on this video. I'd like to ask you two questions today. The first question is, are you totally satisfied with the results of your clinical photography? Are you totally happy with the photos that you're taking, the results of the photos, the way they look when you show them to patients? Is that something you're completely satisfied with? The second question is, would you like to have great clinical photos to share with your patients and show them the results that you can achieve in practice? Because many patients are looking for a dentist that can achieve great results with aesthetic dentistry, implant dentistry, even just really good restorative dentistry. And the way that you can show the patient that you can achieve these results is with clinical photography. And I'll tell you, having great clinical photos will grow your dental practice. It's just going to expand the amount of dentistry that you're able to help patients with, because patients will understand the type of dentistry that you can do. And if you're interested in growing your dental practice, you need to look at registering for my Mastering Dental Photography webinar. This is a free webinar I'm hosting on September 7th. And if you click the button below this video, if you're on the webinar registration page, you can register for the webinar for free. You should do this right away because we only have 100 spaces available on the webinar, just because of the account that I have with GoToMeeting. So if you're interested in learning about the practical uses of clinical photography, including a case presentation and social media, I'm going to talk about that on the webinar. You'd be surprised the use of clinical photography in social media. I'm finding I can achieve really great engagement on my social media pages using clinical photography. And I'll tell you the best place that I'm using clinical photography on social media. I'll also tell you the specific equipment that I'm using in clinical practice. So I'm going to show you my cameras and show you the retractors and mirrors and different types of little instruments that I use that make clinical photography successful. I'm going to share with you the digital camera settings that I use for clinical photography. And these settings can be used for a Nikon or Canon camera. I use Nikon, but the settings can be used and followed for a Canon camera. I'm also going to share with you the retractor, the mirror, and the patient positioning, as well as the camera positioning for great clinical photos. And the hardest photos sometimes are the occlusal photos. And I'm going to share with you a couple of new products that I'm using for occlusal photos that I think can be useful in certain cases. And I haven't shared these two tips anywhere, not on my Mastering Clinical Photography DVD, not in my lectures, because it's just things that I've evolved with over the last couple months. So I'm going to be breaking that out and showing it to you, because I find not every technique works for every patient with occlusal photos. So we have to have a variety of different techniques for occlusal photos. And then what I'm also going to share with you are some video demonstrations. So we're going to show you video clips of how to do the actual photos with me taking the photo on a patient and my assistant retracting, etc. So you'll get a very good feel for how to do this kind of dental photography. And so if you want to learn about this and you want to grow your dental practice, click the button below, register for this webinar. It's September 7th, 2011. If you're watching this video on YouTube, go over to phelandentalseminars.com. And on our homepage, there'll be a little click to register for or click to find out about our webinar button. So there'll be a button on my homepage that you can click on to find out about this webinar as well. So thank you for joining me. And one other thing, I have an added bonus for you. If you register for the webinar, we're going to send you a video that you can watch about editing dental images. So it'll show you the four basic areas that I use when I'm editing dental images, like little tips and techniques for editing dental images. And I'm going to show you in Photoshop with screen capture, because with Photoshop, that's basically the fundamental way to edit images. But all of the other editing software out there has kind of copied what you can do in Photoshop. So if I show you how to do it in Photoshop, you can pretty much follow it in Aperture, iPhoto, any other photo editing software that you use. And if you really want to be a pro, then you can get Photoshop, obviously. So thank you for joining me on this video, and click the button below, register for this webinar, and we'll send you this video right away about how to edit your images in Photoshop. Thank you.